Welcome back to the Heart of Giving. This program is about the nonprofits in the city of Long Beach. We let you know what's happening, all of the wonderful things that the nonprofits do for the citizens of our city and the areas around our city. So today we have Pat Wong. Now, Pat Wong has been the executive director of the Long Beach Day Nursery for over 10 years. I'll ask her. But welcome to the show.
Thank you.
It's nice to have you here.
Oh, it's nice to be here. It's an honor.
Well, you know, the Long Beach Day Nursery is, of course, very dear to me, but I am just delighted that you're here to tell us about the Long Beach Day Nursery. And first of all, my questions to others will be, now, how long have you been in existence? So that's the best entrance for you.
Oh, thank you. Well, amazingly, we've been here over 100 years.
I can't believe it.
1912 we were founded, and last year we celebrated our centennial, and so this is our 101st year of service, our second century.
Well, you know, when you think of the society's changes throughout for 100 years, that in 1912, women didn't leave their children with anybody.
Right. You know, it was a very forward-thinking idea for
yes.
its time, and I really Florence Bixby saw a need among some of the workers at the rancho for the quality care for their children, and that's where the idea started. But they found that there were a number of families that really needed a safe, nurturing place for their children, even back in 1912, when society, as you say, was very, very different than it is now.
Absolutely, absolutely. Well, even a few years after, when I attended the Long Beach Day Nursery.
More than a few years after.
Quite a few years after that. It was kind of unheard of to have women working outside of the home.
And I think just the reality of society now, with more and more two-parent working families or single-parent working families, the need has continued to grow.
And the number of women in the workforce.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
It's changed a lot.
It's changed a lot. And what we know about brain development now and education of young children, there's just more and more to support what we do and providing them with the stimulation and the inputs that they need to grow and learn and be ready for school when they enter kindergarten.
Well, child care, people understand. And there are probably dozens in the city of Long Beach, either in a home or in a facility. And it's so necessary, as you said. But what has set the standard for 100 years? I mean, how has it existed for 100 years?
I think we've always been true to our mission. From the very, very beginning, our mission was to provide a quality, affordable environment for children, and also to serve specifically working parents, working families. So not drifting from that mission has allowed us, I think, the ability to stay in business for as long as we have. We haven't changed our programming, you know, with every new whim and every new trend that comes along, but we stay true to proven best practices and quality standards.
But also, you have a board.
Yes.
And boards, think of all the number of people that have been on the boards in 100 years.
Yes.
And they've always been quality boards.
Yes, absolutely. You know, folks that are dedicated to the vision that all children will be ready for school, people who have histories in Long Beach. The Bixby family, I think just a couple of years ago was the first time ever there wasn't a Bixby on the board.
And the family, nieces and nephews and sons and daughters have always been part of it.
Always been part of the board of directors. Our board is very focused on governance and on resource development and ensuring that we adhere to quality standards and that we remain focused on our mission.
So you always have some group that's watching to make sure that all of this is maintained.
Absolutely.
And you don't slide away. Or,
right.
You know,
Absolutely.
Yeah. That's wonderful. Well, you know, the ages, I think, have changed, haven't they?
Yes. At one time, and I think when you were in attendance, we did serve school-age children, because I think you were school-age when you were there.
Well, I was preschool and then school-age.
And then school-age. And I'm not sure exactly when we stopped serving school-age children, but right now our focus is on 6 weeks to 6 years.
Oh, 6 weeks?
6 weeks. We have little tiny babies at one of our sites.
At one of the sites?
Yes, at our East Branch.
And you have 3 sites or 2 sites?
2 sites.
2 sites.
One on the east side on Bellflower and Carson, and one on the west side at 15th and Chestnut. And I think you attended the original East Side branch, which at that time was...
I didn't think I was going to talk about this in this interview, but I wanted to know what quality tenure I had at the East Branch on Orizaba.
Orizaba. And in the 60s, we moved to the site where we are now in Bellflower and Carson, and then in the 90s that site was renovated. And the infant toddler center there is in fact named after you. And every day when we drive by, we're reminded of your legacy there too.
What do you teach them? I mean, what do you do that brings out skills?
Well, children learn by playing. You know, they learn through play, and that's something that we work very hard with parents to understand. You know, sometimes we get a complaint, if all my child does there is play, but that's how they learn at that age. So the very youngest children, for example, the infants, their schedule is their curriculum. When they wake up, that's when we read, we play, sing, and that's how language develops, when they start hearing the repetition of words. They see us reading books, they hear songs, and that all processes through their brains, and that's how language emerges. You know, and as they get older, there's a little bit more of a structure to their day, but again, it's very play-based. It's based on their needs and their interests, but we ensure that the play is directed so that there's learning occurring. Block play teaches geometry. You don't know that your child's learning geometry when they're building with Legos and blocks, but that's what they're learning. When they plant seeds and over time watch them grow, they're learning science. When they're doing a cooking activity, there's a lot of math and science in there. Story time teaches them about language and books. If you walk into our classroom, and sometimes parents and people who are not in our industry don't understand why everything in the classroom is labeled. You know, there's a chair and there's a big sign that says chair on it. And that's to teach the children that words have meaning. They may not be able to read the word chair, but they understand that those symbols mean chair. So with time, as they grow and their brains develop, they'll understand that is a word. Those words are made up of letters, and that means chair. So by the time they get to kindergarten, they'll understand the concept of reading and the concept of words, and they know that sentences go from left to right, and the book is opened a certain way.
Also, I think that one of the things that probably most nursery schools do is teach how to socialize with other.
Right. I should emphasize that it's not just the academic skills, if you will, but we spend a lot of time on social and emotional skills. Those are very important. A lot of
how to share,
how to
how
wait
not to hit,
right, and how to wait in line and take turns. By the time they're in our preschool, it's a little hard when they're younger, but by the time they're 3 and 4, they know how to take turns. They know that it's not okay to grab a toy from another child, and they know that, when it's lunchtime, they need to wash their hands. And speaking of mealtime, all our meals are family style, so they learn to serve themselves, pass, the plate around to their friends, pour their own milk. And it gets messy, but that's part of the learning process. By the time they're 4, they're pretty good. The 2 and 3-year-olds, sometimes there's a lot of food on the tables and on the floor. But again, that's how they learn. And that's how, they learn that being a good friend is just as important as anything else. So we spend a lot of time on social and emotional skills too.
Well, the fact that they see the same people every day that are kind to them gives them a source of security.
Absolutely. we're learning more and more about brain research, how important attachment and continuity is to healthy development. And even before we knew this, we practiced continuity of care at the day nursery with the youngest children, the babies up to 3. The same caregiver follows them. They don't move from class to class. The caregivers move with them from class to class as they age up to 3. And then once they're in our preschool program, they again stay in the class. It's a mixed age group, and they stay with the same group of friends until they leave us. So there's time to develop those attachments and the bonding that's so important for healthy development.
You have 2 facilities.
2 facilities.
And how many children are there?
There are about 140 at our East Branch and about 90 at our West Branch. So on any given day, about 220 children.
And when you think of the thousands that have gone through this, yeah.
I was once asked, how many children do I think have gone through the day nursery? And I can't even begin to think of a number, but probably in the hundreds.
Well, if you think of 300 to 400 a year
in the recent years,
yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
We started out, I think, with 2 children back in 1912.
Yeah. Well, Pat, this has been delightful to see you and delightful to hear about the Long Beach Day Nursery,
which has
been really a mainstay. And due to the people in the community in 1912, it's working.
It's just been visionary.
Absolutely. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
And thank all of you for watching. This has been a good half hour. We're going to be back about a half hour a week. Or at a special time, and you'll find out when that is, because I'm not even sure right now. But anyway, remember the heart of giving. That's very important to all of us. Thank you all for watching.